Hello, my name is Evan, the Get It Together Man. I'm going to be showing you the most efficient way to assemble the Tucson Swing Set by Backyard Discovery. It's really important to get all the pieces organized in your work area. And for the hardware, the last two numbers of each hardware name is what's most important when you're organizing it. In this case, it's an 88, and that piece shows up a lot, so I've got a container just for 88. The book starts with the slide and the swing beam and a few other things, but I like to start with the tower, so I skip ahead and get the tower set up first. Here I am getting the boards for that ready. And you want to pay special attention to the pre-drilled holes on the sides of these 2x4 pieces. They need to face out. It shows that in the book as well. I'm not tightening these bolts all the way so that I can stand the side of the structure up in a minute and make sure it's square. And now I stand it up, check each corner for square, and tighten the bolts down. Sometimes it's a little confusing which way the structure is going to be facing and which walls go on which side, but I try to keep it in the work area about where the structure is going to be. You can refer to the picture on the front of the manual, but those longer pieces at the bottom there are going to be where the seating area is, and that's considered the front of this one, so I've got it facing the house. This page in the book covers a lot of ground. I usually do the left side and then the right side, so I'm getting all the boards out, all the new boards, and I'm putting them on while it's laying down. And then you'll see I'll stand it up, and with the boards on, it holds itself up so I can get the other side and stand it up together. You'll see what I mean. This is why those pre-drilled holes needed to be facing out at the beginning, because these boards are all taking lags into those pre-drilled holes instead of bolts. This is one of the things I love about this job. Just look at the scenery and how peaceful, and the weather was good this day and it was breezy, and I just felt like I was out there by myself putting this together. So nice. Checking square again on these angles. That's important. Here's a trick. So this step calls for T-nuts in that board there. And that board's just held on by a couple of lags right now, and I don't want to hammer the T-nuts in because I think that may damage the board or knock something loose. So I use a clamp to squeeze in the T-nut instead of the hammer. My hope with this video is that if you live outside of the St. Louis area, it will help you assemble your own Tucson wooden swing set. But if you live in St. Louis, look me up on my website, getittogetherman.com, and I'll come put yours together for you. I've been doing this job full time, and I've built a lot of the Backyard Discovery brand gazebos and swing sets. So even if you have a large swing set or gazebo, I've got somebody that works for me. We can come out and even do the large projects in a day. Here at the corner, you can tell that board's not going down, so I had to loosen some of the bolts and leg screws to get the board to go down and then retighten them. Putting these wood screws in to attach the deck, it's really important to pre-drill these holes because the wood that the screws are going into is not very wide. It's thinner than a 2x4, and if you don't want it to split, you need to pre-drill these holes and then drive the screws. If you're doing this project with 2 people, it's nice to have somebody doing what I'm doing here with the tower and everything, and have another person start on the rock wall, the swing beam, the slide, and the ladder if there is one. But this project is totally doable with 1 person, as you see here. But having 2 people is always nice. You can see here I end up dropping a bolt down in the grass and have to go down and get it and come back up. Stuff like that. It's nice to have a partner around. But again, totally doable with 1 person. Probably noticed, but I like to read ahead a few steps and get all the lumber set up and the hardware all kind of ready to go in my work area, and then I can do a few steps at a time without walking back and forth between the lumber and the hardware table. I get paid per job in my business, so any little efficiency like that helps me get through the job faster so I can get more done in a day. I'm pre-drilling these holes as well. They go into those little rectangle boards that split so easily, so it's a good idea to pre-drill in this step as well. This kit comes with a pretty cool tool called the Picket Pal. There it is in the book. It's a green plastic tool with stair-step measurements on it. It's hard to tell from that picture, but you can see I'm using it to space the pickets here. I like to get the bottom measurement spaced and then the top with 1 screw, and then I can come back and put the second screw at the top and the bottom later after I get the whole wall done. Pre-drilling the holes on this little picnic table. Nice thing about this set is that it's light enough for 1 person to move around. You can see there, I was having trouble getting those bolts in the bottom of the bench there. So I just lifted it up and put one of the boards under there that helped me get the bolt holes lined up. Putting the boards on the rock wall is always a bit of a balancing act, as you'll see. I've got a table here and I'm kind of balanced on it, but it might be easier to get two sawhorses so that you're not so precarious, but this is the way I'm used to doing it. You can see I put the rocks on the boards first. Sometimes in the instructions it has you put the rocks on later, but I think it's always easier to put the T-nuts in the back of the board and then the rocks on there now as opposed to later, so you're not hammering on the structure and knocking things loose. You can see here that I'm putting the board at the bottom as well as the ones I've already put at the top, and that gets the board spacing correct side to side. And then I can use the Picket pal and put the boards at the right spacing going down. And I'm pre-drilling these holes as well because this board is notoriously thin and easy to crack. And that board at the top, you see I just moved it down and there's a board with a rock on it at the top. You can just leave that off for now because you're going to have to take it off to attach it to the structure later anyway. When you're tightening down the nuts for these carabiners that hold the swings up, you want to be careful. If you go too hard, it might swing around and whack you with the carabiner. So you could hold it with a screwdriver or something to make sure it doesn't move while you're tightening the bolt.
Say hi to that bee for me.
Hi, bee.
This bracket on this side that's kind of bent down like the one I just did, you want to leave that hardware a little loose until you get the entire swing beam together. After you drop the beam onto that A-frame part is when you tighten down all these bolts, and that's why you leave it loose until now, because otherwise it's hard to slide that down. This slide here is like an 8-foot slide or something. I've done other slides just like this for Backyard Discovery, and sometimes this is definitely a 2-person project. If the slide is much longer than this, like the 10-foot slides, I've not been able to do by myself. And you'll see it's pretty awkward to slide this yellow plastic part into that green frame here. You have to work your way from the bottom to the top, put a couple screws in there, make sure it's seated down into the green frame all the way before you put the screws through. When you're driving these ground anchors in, I recommend having your drill on the lowest speed setting, and then just don't even squeeze the trigger all the way. Just let the drill pull it into the ground nice and easy, nice and slow. It's not a race, because otherwise it could get caught up and twist your wrist off. That socket I'm using is a 1 1/16 inch deep socket. That works pretty well for this particular brand of ground anchors. These little boards here need T-nuts to hold the handles on, so I'm using the clamp trick again rather than using the hammer to attach the T-nuts. Well, I hope that was helpful. And again, if you live in St. Louis, look me up on my website. I'd love to put your assembly projects together for you. If you have any questions about anything in particular, do you like more detail about another project, please let me know in the comments. I'm making more videos and I'd love to answer your assembly questions and give tips of the things that I've learned. Thanks for watching.